Kitchen. I'm here at Supacolor facility in Hawthorne, California with my friend Carrie. And it's been very interesting, you know, trying to share what a lot of people, you might be toiling away in Arkansas or Wyoming and not get to California and get to see how they do the magic. In fact, you might be anywhere in the world, right? Let's start with that. I did not realize you now, besides starting in New Zealand, you have other facilities in the US and in the UK, right?
We do. So we have a facility in Corby in the UK, and then we also have our facility here in LA in Hawthorne. We have another one currently in Gardena, which is just a little bit away from here. And then we also have a plant in Marietta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta.
So it's interesting, you know, a lot of your marketing focuses on certain things. It was very interesting to see that you really walk the walk with those things, like how much attention and what goes into the, let's just take color matching to begin with, right? This is like a very serious thing, right? It's not easy.
It sure is, yeah. We put, especially in the last year, I mean, Supacolor prints a hybrid transfer, so we're using Indigos running a digital full color, but we've learned there's lots of things that we can do to make sure that we're maintaining the equipment properly, being consistent, right? Matching PMS colors really, really closely, and giving our customers an opportunity to print all different colors and not have to pay setups.
And then I noticed like a really, I won't say an inordinate amount, but a lot of attention paid to registration. Like you have your own methods that you have geared to. Printing is almost always a system, and you really have a lot of focus on your system for registration included, right? You can't say what some of it is, but that seems to be a very big thing, right?
Yeah, so that's something that definitely sets our product apart, I think, is how tightly we can register on our hybrid transfers, right? Making sure that we print a lot of white as well as adhesives, as well as things like blockers, right? So making sure that our registration is really tight and gives the customer the best final product is definitely part of our secret sauce, if you will, of how we do things here.
Well, part of the secret sauce also is like, it's extremely clear that you're not trying to just push stuff out the door as like the cheapest thing. Like you have pretty extensive quality control, looks like.
We do.
And that's within the process, and it's also like at the end before it gets shipped out, right?
Yeah, so we have our QC department is in our dispatch area, so right at the end of our process where the transfers are going to be cut apart and counted and packed up, the application instructions go on them. We're QCing all the transfers there right at that point, but we certainly have lots of quality stops along the way, and in particular here in the Indigo department is where, you know, they say with troubleshooting and continuous improvement, if you can push the quality as far upstream as you can. And so this is really where our production process starts. So our quality process really starts here, and make sure that we're checking line weights, make sure that we're checking color output before we get the work out to the shop, right, and spend a lot of time working on it.
Yeah, it's interesting how much you spend on both the end product, but also like the process within too. I mean, like you're charting certain parameters within your printing that you are measuring all the time just to get better. It seems like there's a definite culture here to get things better.
Yeah, so that's part of the continuous improvement culture, right? And I've been lucky to learn a lot about continuous improvement over the years from lots of great people that I've had the pleasure to work with. And so, it's really that continuous, so we never stop. So every department is constantly looking, every team member is looking at ways that we can make improvements every day, right? And that becomes our culture, right? So one of the ones we were talking about earlier is tracking our dehaze screens, right? And trying to eliminate our even need to dehaze, right? Take out steps from the process, especially where we can, and making sure that we've got great quality screens on the floor. I mean, if you want to be a great screen printer, you got to make a great screen, right?
Oh yeah, sure. You know, it's funny, that's one of the things that seems a theme with almost everyone I talk to that does a good job. There's things that you do that in some ways are very simple, you know, like
we're not reinventing the wheel.
No, like continuous improvement. Like you're always going to evaluate, go forward with what, you know, stop what wasn't working, go with what is. Sounds simple, except it's not easy.
Yeah, and I think it's part of that as the culture is just enabling that thinking for all of our team members to feel empowered to bring ideas, right, or bring suggestions. And we might not be able to do all of them, but sometimes that one suggestion leads somebody else to have another thought, right? And I think that's really where it goes quickly, is when all the team members are kind of pointed in that direction.
Right. So it must be quite something to sort of also match all your processes to all the different facilities.
Yeah.
That must. I didn't.
It is.
I don't
It's
really.
something we're very protective about, actually.
Pretty hard to see maybe how that happens, but clearly you care about it, right?
Well, I think it's almost, when the team started the business in New Zealand and then brought it here to the U.S. and we quickly grew into the U.K. and Atlanta. So the team really kind of took that approach of, if we were McDonald's or we were franchising it, how would we do it and how would we have repeatable processes, right? And we're pretty careful about not letting plants start to go off and drift and do their own thing. We all make Supacolor. We all need to make it the same way. And that's another thing we've worked really closely on. Originally, it was sort of conceptually, everybody felt that way, but now we've also put change management procedures in place and try not to be bureaucratic with all of our paperwork and documentation that we do, but also really wanting to make sure we protect that as the business grows, right? If you order Supacolor from our UK team or from New Zealand or from here in LA or Atlanta, we want you to get the same product every time.
It's kind of interesting to see how seamlessly you do it. Maybe it's not easy, but against that you have digital and analog, that's a very rare combination these days, I think. People are like, oh, we're going to throw the analog out and only do digital, and not true.
Yeah, well, and I think that's...
Everything's not better digitally.
Exactly. Look at our white, Supacolor white. I haven't seen one on a DTF machine that comes close yet. Not saying that they won't ever, right? Because the technology is growing, but as far as what our Supacolor white looks like, it's really I haven't seen anything better anywhere. That's why we say it's the world's best heat transfer, right? So it's water-based, approved.
You're all right to strut your stuff. That's all right. All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming and touring the shop with us.
Machine's fault. The machine's fault. We have to plug it in. The machine doesn't do anything. We sit there until we plug it in.